It won't be wrong if I call IMA India and Fenil as a synonymous word.
We just started as a 2-member team, and CMA was known in some institutes, some locations, but not known as a pan-India certification. CMA covered 12 core practice areas of management accounting, and we test the candidates up to level C, we call as the accounting certification, which focus more on audit, tax, assurance, compliance. CMA focus more into finance, management, accounting, performance, and more into decision-making kind of a certification.
I want to let this come from the horse's mouth. So which are the top 5 roles CMAs can target?
You should look into the roles which is
The eldest one turns 18-year-old, comes to you and asks, okay, Dad, help me with overall career guidance. I want to make career in finance.
There are many students doing CMA, but not everyone exploring even the free courses which IMA offers.
A lot of people are not comfortable talking about numbers when it comes to salary expectations.
That will be a challenging answer to communicate because depends on CMA plus a good help you to reach anywhere in the corporate world.
So today marks a very special day for us at FinStreet. We have someone with us because of whom I became a CMA. I was able to contribute something to this ecosystem, and I became a part of something that is really big, impactful in a lot of students who are in commerce field today. Today we have with us Mr. Fenil, who is Director of Growth at IMA. Before we start, let me share a small story with you guys. During my BCom days, I had participated in a case study competition, which I eventually won, and we'll discuss that in this episode. But after the competition, I was almost for a year engaging with IMA through a lot of activities, community and chapter events. But I didn't feel that push to pursue CMA. I always felt that, okay, I have 3 years, I'll take my time, I'll pursue it. And it went up to a level where I was having a 6-month deadline, but then I met this person. And there was one simple condition that, Aditya, if you pursue this, you won't regret it. After 10 years in your life, your career will be at a very different level. I believed in him, I looked up to him, and I still look up to him. Today, we have with us our mentor, Mr. Fenil. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Aditya. And thank you very much for bringing that. So, when I actually think about Aditya as a person, I still remember the days where your first presentation was done in, if I'm right, I think the event happened in Christ University venue, and your team presented. I know the first year you were not able to make it. And I still remember that days, and after a year, your team again got qualified for the top 6 teams on that particular time. And you came up and we were doing the evaluation. No, I think that time it was 8 teams got shortlisted. And we're doing all the presentation and we were doing the tabulation on the same time. And your team was the last team to present on that year. So I already looked at the marks and they said, okay, so these are first, second, and third. And because we know that previous year you were not able to make it. But you have to really look at in the way how you change the entire system, when I'm talking about it, I'm getting that feel like, that cool feel this is affecting, coming up. You made a tremendous, an amazing presentation, which changed the entire marking system which happened in that particular time. And your team won as the first for the student case competition in that year. I think that's a big story. And I still remember what you said. You made a lot of times you practiced it, and that kind of dedication which you put forward to making that presentation and being a winner. I think that is what I personally see in you after that. Yes, I agree to you that I said I pushed you multiple times to do CMA program. From there, I've seen he completing the CMA program. From there, he became the chapter president of Pune chapter, supporting IMA, even part of the IMA global board in some, committees. So a lot of contributions from Aditya, and that's the time again I was pushing him for, starting your own training, and I see that skill in you and you should start. So today I'm very happy to say that FinStreet as IMA's approved learning provider, and Aditya is running that. It's a proud moment for anyone who's working with any professional certification. You see someone starting as a student, going to the corporate world, in between you're doing your certification, starting your own entity, and running successfully. So congratulations, Aditya, for all your efforts and all your contributions to IMA. You made a big difference as a youngster. You coming into the training domain and helping many of our candidates successfully passing the CMA program.
Thank you so much. This word means a lot. Can't
I thought of this
express.
is what no one can tell you, so I thought of I'll tell you this opportunity.
But yeah, means that, yeah, I'm falling short of words to express my gratitude, but I'm really thankful. Even when I was starting FinStreet, one person I was in touch with was Fenil. Okay, Fenil, I'm doing this. Is it correct? Is it the right way? What should be my next step? I'm facing issues with, let's say, some kind of payment, some kind of, other discounts that I'm planning to give. So he guided me at each and every step. So eventually what happened that even before becoming a training provider, at what time, whenever the public discount was out, I used to connect with him. Hey, how can I process this? How can I take it ahead? So there was, a constant support, I would say, throughout my journey. And you are the one major reason why it has been running so smoothly and so well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start with the main discussion though. It won't be wrong if I call IMA India and Fenil as a synonymous word. If I'm not wrong, you are the first employee under IMA's team that is being set up in India, right?
Yeah, in a way, first two of our employees who together joined, even though I joined few days later, I recommended someone to join few days before me. So yes,
okay.
in that way, I'm the second. Employment-wise, I'm the second person.
Okay. So how's it been? When it all started and starting something right from the scratch, how has the journey been?
Yeah, that's a good topic to actually for me to look back around 7 years. So I've worked or completed my 7 years with IMA. And I do remember the first few days where we just started as a 2-member team. And CMA was known in some institutes, some locations, but not known as a pan-India certification. And there are only 2 providers were offering the CMA. Couple of universities started offering CMA that particular time. But apart from that, I would say a very few people, maybe I would say around 2,600 members only were there in India that particular time. And there are a lot of challenges to start as a professional certification body. But I really appreciate the IMA's mission to support the entire accounting and management accounting community. We work together, and thanks for the management for their patience and support and encouragement. They've given it to us to actually penetrate CMA as one of the sought after certification right now in India. So I'm saying it's almost like 17 to 18x growth in the last 7 years we have seen with CMA certification. So where I look at, yes, the first few days, if I look at, if you come to our office that particular time, you might see me as an office boy. And on the same time, other day you will see me on the desk as a invited guest. But on the same time, we started from the scratch and connecting to the corporate, connecting to the universities, creating more awareness, more partners. I think it was a wonderful journey. And in this journey, I would really want to thank all our members who are chapters. And some of our members were actually taken additional, time to support IMA in our journey. So I want to thank everyone, including universities, partners, corporates who started recruiting. So a lot of changes now. I can see now more and more people are aware about CMA program, and it's now coming as a sought after certification. So it's a great journey which went through, a lot of challenges we went through. Now we reached to one level. Now we are looking at how to take to the next level, and CMA as the top certification maybe looked at by the finance and accounting professionals across the world.
Wow. This story is so much relatable to me. I'll share one incident from when I started FinStreet initial days. It was again a 2-member team, and the second member wasn't even full time. One of my friend was working in a company. I used to ask him, why don't you work with me part time? And you had visited my first office.
That's right.
Yeah, so we just had a cabin. I used to run around, get coffee from the office boys and everything. And first 10 students, I still recall. The way I onboard first 10 students were, they used to reach out to me for career counseling, and I used to tell them, just give me 1 hour with you. I'll do a one-on-one demo session. If you like my teaching style, you go ahead with me, but if you don't like it, I'll stop teaching. Okay. That was the challenge I used to give. And a lot of people agreed to that. They came, they saw my session, they loved it, and then they joined me. So it's a very, a different kind of a feeling when you start something from the scratch and it scales up to this level. But another interesting thing means I got to know about this certification somewhere around 2017. I was in my SYBCom.
Oh, okay.
And during that time, it was like, what is CMA? There wasn't much awareness. And today, if I see, it is a mainstream option. After 12th standard, students do know about this, read about this, inquire about this. So according to you, because you have closely seen this, actually driven this in a way. So what would be 3 major reasons why it became mainstream, what contributed to it, or what would be USP that brought the spotlight on CMA?
See, one of the primary reason, I think industries and even university segments start realizing the value of the right knowledge. because what we are seeing in the industry is changing almost every couple of years. And organizations need the people with the right skill set. That is one side. On the other side, universities also start facing a challenge, saying that they are not able to produce the right set of people with the industry knowledge. Now, both sides, there is a gap. One is universities or institutes or students need to equip themselves with what industry looking at, and then what they can incorporate in the certification or in their program. I think that is where CMA as a certification start getting into the university segment or student segment, one of the sides. The other side, again, especially in the time of COVID, and people start realizing they need a differentiator and they need the right skills and right focused approach in order to work as well as continue their journey in a corporate side. So all these things together, I think a kind of a demand start creating for the accounting, finance and management accounting domain. Unlike the accounting certification which focus more on audit, tax, assurance, compliance, as you know that as you're qualified, CMA focus more into finance, management, accounting, performance, and more into decision-making kind of a certification. And if you look at post-COVID, pre-COVID, what happened in this particular segment, the industry start looking at automating their jobs, whereas the need of accountants in a way is moving out, where they need people who can help organization in decision-making. And I would say CMA actually were able to position ourselves at the right time as a certification, help organization in decision making, especially from a finance and non-finance angle. I think that is one of the key factors. Second one, yes, these days students or professionals, they don't want to spend years together to prepare for CMA program. They always look at something short, but on the same time, which gives them a knowledge which is required. Sometimes people look at it's a two-part exam. How can you equate the two-part exam with 14 to 17 exams, which is part of many other certification? But very few actually understand CMA cover 12 core practice areas of management accounting, and we test the candidates up to level C. We call as level A is knowledge comprehension, level B is application and analysis, level C is synthesis and evaluation. So a candidate is tested up to level C in the same exam. So that's why sometimes people look at CMA as a two-part exam, but the rigor which they need to go through, it's tested up to level C. But on the same time, from a candidate perspective, 12 to 18 months is a good time. If they invest, they can complete the CMA program. So I think these are the two primary factors which actually pushed CMA, and definitely all our members, course providers, everyone start realizing the value and start creating the awareness of the CMA program across India.
It puts me in awe the way you have given the answer, which is diplomatically correct. But the first point which you said that the curriculum needs updation, I have personally felt that, or gone through an incident during my college days. I went up to my professor and I said, whatever we are learning in our accounting, it's very different than what actual companies are reporting.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that, Aditya, our curriculum is not updated, unfortunately. I'm like, we are one of the best universities, right? In India, still the curriculum is not updated. Like, it takes time. The academic world runs at a different pace, and the corporate world runs at a different pace. Globally, it's different. Locally, it's different. And then he highlighted that this is the reason why you will see a lot of professional exams getting traction. In this sense, the most relevant practice is reflected in this curriculum.
Yeah.
So, that one major benefit actually shifted my focus. Initially during my BCom days, I was like, BCom plus MBA, we are set for life. But then I realized, okay, I need domain expertise.
Yeah.
Then I could take it ahead.
As you said, is absolutely right. Industry is changing. Every 3 to 4 years, industry is changing. The need and the kind of skill set which industry required is also changing. How IMA do that? Every 4 to 5 years, IMA go around the world and ask the employers, what kind of skill set you are expecting from your finance team, CFO team? And we change or update our syllabus according to the industry requirement. So we call this process as job analysis study. As part of job analysis study, IMA creates something called IMA Management Accounting Competency Framework. And this competency framework is the base background to create the CMA program as well as IMA membership benefits. For example, the leadership qualities and all these and or ethics or from technology part. Most of these courses also added as part of IMA membership benefits, which help a CMA qualified to stand out in the corporate world with their technical as well as the knowledge in the leadership, technology, analytics, and ethics, and every part of it. So that makes also a lot of difference into that.
One more point I realized based on the job analysis part, while studying CMA, because I had just stepped out of college and I was pursuing it during that time, I was surprised around one section, that was part 1, section F, technology. That why is there, database management and analytics, everything covered, and at certain level of depth. Okay, it's just not introduction. There is some level of depth included. But when I joined Deutsche Bank, I entered an analytics role, and wahan pe I was working on, we had ClickView, which is similar to Tableau. It's a primary software used for analysis. And then I realized that I am actually doing database management. So it was so relevant, even though coming from finance background, learning technology over there and then applying it made sense after entering the job.
That's absolutely right. And in fact, there are a few people even reached back to me. I'm sure you know that fundamentals of data analytics and visualization as a course, which is IMA membership benefit, which we extend. So one of the candidate 2 years back she was sharing her experience. She went for an interview, and the interview role was for X, and which is related to CMA. But on the same time, she mentioned that she completed, certificate in data analytics and visualization as part of her resume. So the interviewer asked more about it. And what she said, finally, she ended up a better job than what she applied for. So sometimes what I personally feel there are many students doing CMA, but not everyone exploring even the free courses which IMA offers, which going to add value when you get into the corporate world. I think that's what people need to really look at.
Cool. I'll definitely mention the link in the description. You can refer to this IMA's course. It's there on their portal, and I think it's free for all the members, if I'm not wrong.
For student members.
Student members, okay. It's free for all the student members. Okay, that's great. So yesterday evening, I actually took a Q&A session for, FinStreet community members. We have an open community where, whoever is interested can join our group. During this session, one of the most commonly asked questions that, Aditya sir, I've completed CMA or I'm about to complete, what are the job roles I should target?
Okay.
Now, I've given my take, but I want to let this come from the horse's mouth. So which are the top 5 roles CMAs can target?
So when you look at jobs, we need to look at from 2 different perspectives. One for experienced professionals, one is for freshers. So according to the IMA job analysis or internal member analysis, what we see, almost 33% of people who completed CMA work as CEOs, CFOs and controllers, and 22% of them are directors and managers. Almost 34% of people who works as analyst. So I would say if you are a fresher with 0 experience who's completed graduation with CMA, you should look into the roles which is F&A or cost management, accounting, pricing, investment analyst, risk analyst, financial analyst. So these are some of the profiles which is more into financial controllership and CFO services. I would say one of the right fit for CMA certificate holders are getting into these profiles. These profiles maybe not immediately you getting into the management role, but on the same time, it helps you to analyze things and report what is required for the next level. So in these roles, in addition to that, what happens, most of the CMA's roles are client-facing roles. So that is where sometimes it's not just CMA certification alone help you to place in these profiles, especially those who are coming from non-metros. They need to really improve their communication skills, which is sometimes I understand it's also a challenge for institute to incorporate, whereas the students need to take, especially the student community, if you are looking at a fresher's perspective. If this working for professionals, altogether different. But students, they, as a CMA completed, they got their brand, but they should know how to sell your brand to the corporate. So I think this is the way how you can position yourself. So I've seen people who completed CMA placed in very senior roles, in different levels of the role. On the same time, sometimes where they are not able to reach that. So primarily my judgment, I look at it is primarily because of how you present or how you, represent yourself in front of your interviewer, even though you are a CMA qualified. So CMA plus a good communication skills help you to reach anywhere in the corporate world.
These are the exact words you won't believe. These are the exact words said by Akshay Pawar, who was here, few weeks back. We shot an episode with him.
Okay.
So he was telling this story that he was shortlisted for deputy manager position at PepsiCo, Hyderabad. Okay. And he was competing with chartered accountants.
Very good.
And during his interview, he was the one who got shortlisted. He was able to beat, and he said that I was able to sell my brand. I was able to communicate my story, that what all I have learned, how I can contribute, and how I can perform well.
Yeah.
So These
No,
are
I
the
think
differences.
if you talk about stories, I do like to share the stories. Like I remember 2 years back, I met a girl at Jaipur, and she actually shared her story.
Okay.
So what she said, she applied, and she is from Ajmer, that area, and she
Mhm.
applied for a job in Jaipur with one of the banks, and the interviewer asked her, "You, what you have done?" And she said she is a US CMA. So the immediate question came is, what do you mean by US CMA? Unfortunately, the awareness of CMA in that market was not that great. So I've seen this kind of feedback. Sometimes students come back, or candidates come back and say that I'm a CMA, I studied both part, I cleared. Whether there is no value, people are not recognizing it. This is how people come back. But just look at this story, what happened. She got placed, so which means she done well in her interview.
Yes.
But not stopped there. She also ensured that the one who interviewed her
Okay.
got into the CMA program.
Okay.
So that's how I say this is what a CMA need to bring to the table. It's not about you learning CMA. You should be confident on the 12 core practice areas, what you studied as part of the CMA program, and how to present that to your interviewer or to crack to the next level.
Amazing. That's quite unique, convincing your employer to pursue CMA. Now I want to push you to some hard-hitting questions. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
But one complaint that I got from students is the scholarship policy has changed, and not a lot of people were happy about it. I conveyed, my side of the story, that what we discussed some time back. But instead of again me telling, what's your take that why the policy got changed, and is there any small little hope of having any?
So yes, I agree to your point. IMA used to give generous scholarships earlier, till last year, for the students who are doing full-time graduation or post-graduation. But we changed the policy, and yes, we are not saying it's fully stopped, but we still extend that to endorsed universities and partner university, where they need to fulfill certain criteria. So the primary purpose of looking into changing, that is definitely an organization policy to look at. On the other side, personally, what I've seen, when students get scholarship, it's a question mark whether they take that as a serious. Because what I've seen, first of all, the students are taking scholarship. After taking the scholarship, not everyone is going and writing exams. That's first. Second thing, what I noticed, students are not, especially the scholarship students, not everyone I'm talking about. But when I look at the total number of the scholarship recipients, those who wrote the exams and clearing the exams, we see a kind of a challenge where they're not taken enough effort. I think because when you get things free, you don't take much things for things for granted. So I think that is one thing which I personally noticed in that way. But now we are not saying we stopped scholarship. We extend scholarship for endorsed universities and colleges and partner universities, where they run CMA program in-house. There might be more than 30-35 students, or even 60 or 80 students preparing CMA in-house within the university or college. So future, I am not the right person to say whether it's going to come back or not, but my gut feel says that I think we went through a certain stage, we given enough scholarship in the market. We helped many students to pursue their dream certification of CMA that particular time free of cost.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, you're one of them, yes. Yeah, you're a great example for that, but we don't see many Adityas here, am I right? So yes, scholarships are granted, but not in public now. It is selected to certain universities and colleges.
Okay. So let's say if someone is interested in getting the scholarship, should they reach out to you, or should their college reach out to you for an endorsement or a partnership?
Yeah, I think their college need to reach out to us.
Okay.
So that's what I said. Endorsed IMA, there is a concept called IMA Higher Education Endorsement. There's a process. The university need to integrate the CMA curriculum to their program. And that entire program will send with all their pedagogy and everything together, teaching, testing pattern, everything, how they integrated the syllabus to the actual program. All these need to be prepared and submitted to IMA. It will take a couple of months time, and we evaluate and come back saying that whether the college has actually done the integration, whether we can give you a stamping of IMA Higher Education Endorsement. So that's one option. Second option, there are few universities and colleges integrated the CMA into their program. They may be not applied for endorsement because they are in the initial part of it. Or some of the colleges given CMA as an add-on program for their college, for the entire students. And if there are almost 30-35 students who are preparing for CMA and they register with IMA, then that colleges can also reach us to sign an agreement with IMA and then that also helps them to get the scholarship.
So there you go. Now you have an idea around how to get scholarship either through your college or additional efforts of partnering or being part of the endorsement cohort. Next, and I know a lot of people are not comfortable talking about numbers when it comes to salary expectations. So let me put into your comfort zone. Okay, these are not official numbers, but based on your own experience, your observation, what packages are observed for a, let's say, BCom plus CMA fresher, 2 years into the industry, 5 years into the industry?
That will be a challenging answer to communicate because depends on,
Yes.
sometimes it comes from which location, which organization, what role they got in and how they performed in their interview. So the multiple factors looked at into that. So we look at two ways, maybe like from a fresher's perspective and from an experienced professional's perspective. Freshers, those who completed graduation and one part cleared and they're doing the second part. What we have seen, some of the organizations are interested in hiring them as interns. So I would say somewhere between 3 to 4.5 is the interns package which we have seen in the market. Whereas those who completed both part with their good communication skills, I would say between 4.5 to even 7.5. That's what I've seen in the market. And again, it depends on which company, which role, which organizations, like job profile wise, and whether it's a startup, whether it's a a big firm, like it's multiple factors involved in that. But what I would say, the knowledge what you brings to the table, I would like to share this experience. So one of the questions which I usually ask, especially the youngsters who got into the corporate world, I said, how CMA makes a difference in your career life? So one of the main things which I repeatedly hear from our CMA holders, they say they're valued within the organization, whereas even people with 4 to 5 years experience, they'll come and ask you how you have done this report differently than others. I think that is where you are creating your difference. And from an experienced professional's perspective, very rarely we see experienced professionals come back to us looking for a job, because I personally feel it, CMAs, when you are in a job and when you do CMA, that will help you to move and that will help you to get a better recognition within the corporate, or you move to a different corporate altogether. So maybe that's one where you can look at the IMA global salary survey that I can give you. But again, I can't give you like an X figure, because we do have people with different experience, even working as CFOs or vice presidents of organization, directors and managers. So it depends on their profile, experience and what they do. The salary makes a lot of difference. So I can't say from experience X is the salary which you can look forward. I think sky is your limit.
True. And I mean, adding more perspective to this, because in my observation, I got to observe this industry for around 5-6 years since the time I started pursuing CMA. So one thing I observed, that when you step out as a fresher, it takes some time to realize that what skills are missing. Once you equip yourself with those skills, you get placed. And it takes some time. So, but students are very impatient. So they voice out their feedback. Hey, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. But there's a key observation over here. Everyone from my batch, whoever pursued CMA 1 year plus or minus, everyone is earning more than ₹1 lakh per month as of today.
Very good.
And there are such extreme cases where there's a close friend of mine who kept on joining and leaving. 4 or 5 companies. She took a break in between. Again, she joined. Still made it. Her package is around 14 right now. She's in Bangalore working with a startup.
Okay.
FP&A team reports to CFO team directly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is this even possible? But she's able to perform. She has that knowledge. She has that foundation. So it makes a difference. So, the typical dialogue from Three Idiots, that Kabil bano, the success will follow you. So, the key part is Kabil bano. Success eventually follows you through experience, through skills. You will make it.
No, I really when you mentioned about it, I think one of the things what happens, because it's 2-part exam, people want to complete it in a short time. The same expectation for the job as well. They don't have patience into waiting for the right job. So it's not about, getting into any job after CMA. You should really look at what you want to be and where you want to see in the next 5 years' time. Then you need to look at how is your learning with CMA and your work need to align well, and you need to apply for that. I think while applying for the jobs now, you need to understand the new hiring mechanisms, including ATS, resume systems, technology way, that selection process. How is your resume aligned with the job description of the organization, and align that. I'm not saying that you have to create something which is not your forte into your resume, but how to align that. So that will help you to shortlist, and after that, it's all about how confidently you communicate. I think that's going to make a big difference.
I think that has a lot of value in terms of setting perspectives for students. Please take a note of it. But moving to next question. Now, this is an interesting one. IMA as an umbrella, I have seen offering 3 major courses. One is FMAA, second is CMA, and third is CSCA. So my question is, while creating these courses, how did you define that which is the perfect candidate, or this course is meant for which type of candidate?
Okay, great. So IMA's flagship program is CMA, which is almost 55 years old as a certification, and we awarded more than 100,000 CMAs across the globe, which is a certification, I would say, those who want to really go in deep dive into finance, management, accounting, performance, and decision making. But we also realize there are people who are working in the corporate ladder for a couple of years. They comes with basic knowledge in finance or other areas, but on the same time, they want to fine tune their strategy part or competitive analysis part. So that is where you can see that CSCA as a certification, came into the picture, where CSCA as a certification primarily was only for CMA holders. Later, it was extended for the other qualified professionals. Now, there are slight changes happen, people with experience and working, those who are graduate and working in a corporate for a few years, and those who want to really fine-tune their strategic thinking and competitive analysis. CSCA is one of the best certifications which you can look at. I would say more towards strategy. On the same time, couple of years back, CMA or IMA actually came up with another certification called FMAA, Financial and Managerial Accounting Associate Certification. You want to get into finance, you want to test the drive. On the same time, someone who's not from finance, but you want to know more about finance. I think FMAA is a certification for you. Those who want to get into the finance, but not ready to deep dive into finance. But to have a finance managerial accounting knowledge will help you to perform in your organization. I think FMAA is one of the best certification look at. So maybe who can look at even people who are working in non-finance technological area, those who want to get a finance knowledge, which is FMAA as a certification, or those who are even in the initial part of their graduation. The question come back, FMA or CMA. So if you want to get to know about finance, getting into the ocean of finance, I think FMA is a stepping stone. CMA is you are actually start swimming inside that.
Okay, that's a nice analogy. Another interesting thing, so I was aware about CSCA. Initially, the requirement was only CMA, I mean certified professionals could pursue CSCA, but lately I think the eligibility criteria has changed. So would you like to highlight those?
Yes, so ideally what happened now, anyone who's a graduate with a couple of years of experience who are working in a corporate is eligible to apply and start preparing for your CSCA program. Now, sometimes people ask why, because what we have seen, there is a demand from non-finance background professionals and people who work in different streams, but they worked in the corporate for a couple of years. They need a certification which helps them to fine-tune their strategy and analytical part. So that's where this certification is now going to be benefited for many. So you can look at CSCA as an integrated program, maybe with management programs, or you can look at CSCA as a certification for your top management within the organization, or those who are qualified, maybe those who are other qualified professionals, and you need an international certification and title. CSCA could also make a difference holding that global title of CSCA certification. So now it is open to many, and that many can be benefited with CSCA certification.
Okay, the top management part actually helps me recall one of the conversations I had. I don't recall, but there was in one of our chapter events, I had met someone who was pursuing CSCA, and I had the same question, that why you went for the certification. He had a nice answer. He said, Aditya, CMA helps you with the finance coverage that we will learn end to end, but now you want to be part of senior management where you are a CFO and now you are working on the strategy part. Which is one level, different. You have to think from a very different perspective. So CSCA will help,
That's
equip
right.
with that.
Now, even I met a couple of people very recently. There are a lot of takers start coming up for CSCA. Primarily, CSCA was not much known in India. Now, like CMA a couple of years back, now CSCA start getting the ground or recognition in the market. I'm sure in the next couple of years, CSCA will be one of the flagship program as well.
Awesome, great. Coming back, before going to the last question, there's an interesting question I got yesterday again from our community discussion. One student asked, "Sir, I want to work with IMA." Like, okay, that's new. So, if someone wants to work with IMA, is there any scope? How can they apply? Or
That's a good question. I think I get the same question multiple times everywhere. So how come you got into IMA? Whether I'm a CMA holder? There are many questions comes up. So definitely I'm not saying yes or no right now. See, if you look at from an organization perspective, IMA as an organization, we have different departments, finance department, business development, marketing, technology. So multiple departments are there. So IMA hire people on the respective backgrounds with a respective experience. So it's not like we look at only CMAs to get involved, because you need experts in respective areas. Whereas I always say getting into IMA with CMA always an added advantage, because you know the topic, you can communicate to people really well. On the same time, you possess the other skills which you require. And I would say the number of opportunity for CMAs within IMA as a smaller organization, even as a global organization, but if you really look at with Big Fours and other organizations, their consulting side or FP&A side, so there are a lot of opportunities for CMAs there. I would say you go into that level, work there, also contribute, be part of the IMA chapters. People always look at IMA. Yes, we are a staff which is IMA staff, I agree. But on the same time, we do have 300 chapters across the globe. And our members got a great opportunity to be part of the chapter, as well as work as a volunteer contributor, as director, president, secretary, treasurer. So different opportunities are there within IMA. So I would say anyone who is interested, maybe start exploring your membership benefits, being part of the chapter, start contributing to the chapter. Who knows where you're going to end up?
Okay, that's amazing insight. This is one of the most, I would say, unexplored areas of membership benefits.
Exactly.
So chapters add immense value. I mean, if I look back at my
you're a great example for that.
Exactly. How I explored chapter was during my college day, I was an extremely curious kid. I just got an email saying, hey, there's an event happening in Mumbai. And I said, okay, let's explore. So I traveled all the way from Pune to Mumbai. The earlier chapter board was, I think, led by one of the directors or senior management at EY.
Okay.
I went to that chapter.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, a few years back.
Few years back.
That's right.
2017, 18.
Yeah.
So I went there and I introduced, I just got
I think his name is Fayaz, if I'm right.
Exactly. That's great. Okay. So I went there. I met this folk and he said, how you got to know? I said that I just got a scholarship. I won this competition and I'm here just to observe and see. But as and when people started coming in from different companies, and I'm like, okay, this is like a golden opportunity. You get to explore, understand what's happening in the industry. Plus, when I started studying, I had opted for self-study. So I had made few friends in these chapters, and I used to call them for guidance. Okay, how should I study? What should be my next step? And one of the reasons why I became CMA again goes back to the chapters.
Yeah, absolutely right. I remember Fayaz. I think he was in US for a couple of years, and he was also part of a student chapter there. Okay. I think that's the enthusiasm which he brings to that particular time. Not sure where is he right now, but yes. Now I think that's a time where we were initially setting up our chapters in India. Now we do have 8 prominent chapters in Cochin, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, now in Mumbai, Pune, Delhi and Kolkata. So there are like 8 chapters, and we have seen members work together. And it's also a great opportunity for members to really experience their leadership skills. They get into organizing, connecting to people, inviting, senior executives as a speakers to come and deliver topics. So I think I would say members really need to involve themselves in the chapter activities, first as an attendee and then maybe to contribute back to the community.
Okay, interesting. Now I have last, but I think one of the most interesting as well as challenging question for you.
Okay.
So I'm aware, I think you have 2 kids, if I'm not wrong.
3.
3? Okay, sorry, my bad. So imagine that the eldest one turns 18-year-old, comes to you and asks, okay, Dad, help me with overall career guidance. I want to make career in finance.
Okay.
So what would your advice be for your kid?
It is always, we say it's easy to communicate outside, but on the same time communicating your own kid is a challenging thing. But couple of months I was I was discussing with the same point with some of the university faculty members, because what we have seen, the university education is going through different changes. Even yesterday I saw a post, there are multiple agencies to look at how college need to work, but there is no agency to look at how the students are delivered, how the knowledge is delivered to the students. So there are a lot of things, businesses coming into the education sector. but where is the value comes in? Whether the point which you spoke a couple of minutes earlier, the syllabus is not changed or updated. So sometimes I think like whether I should send my kid to a college or after 12th, should I ask him to prepare a professional certification if his interest is towards finance management, accounting and decision making, I will definitely push him for that. But again, it depends on, I would say, candidate to candidate. We need to give them different ways where they can get into the, especially in the finance. Maybe I will definitely like to push my kids to CMA because seeing the kind of value which CMA brings to the table. But on the same time, I would say I need to go sit with him for some more time to understand what is his career aspiration. Whether they're set ready for that, I'm not saying yes, but giving more opportunities about, what are the different streams which you can get in, or like, for example, whether he is more interested in like me, who is more connecting to people, helping business to succeed or people to succeed in their career or in their business. So then in that case, I need to drive him to a different route altogether. But one thing I'll tell you, like CMA is one of the certification. With close eyes, I can communicate to anyone. It's one of the certification which you can look at for your career.
Okay, well, let's, I think that's the best note I think we could end our discussion on. And thank you so much for staying with us till the end. If you have any questions which you want me to pass on to Fenil or the IMA India team, feel free to use the comment section. If you are new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe. Like if you like the overall conversation. As usual, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.